Good evening, it's 6 p.m. here in Cairo. Welcome to Channel 2's news updates. Here's a look at the main headlines. President Al-Sisi meets with the Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers and the Central Bank Governor. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry receives his German counterpart Heiko Maas, currently visiting Egypt. And Lebanon's Prime Minister Saad Hariri said he will submit his cabinet's resignation to the president. Welcome back to Channel 2's 6 p.m. news updates, and we start off by taking a look at President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi, who instructed that to ensure sufficient supplies of staple commodities, including meat, poultry and fish, the president ordered the authorities should be more heavily clamp down on the market monopolistic exercises, particularly those biting hard onto the government subsidized commodities, which must be accessible to the low-income people. President al-Sisi made these remarks as he presided over a meeting with the Prime Minister, Cabinet Ministers, the Central Bank Governor, as well as the chiefs of the General Intelligence and the Administrative Surveillance Authority. The meeting followed up on the state economic performance indicators and the headway made towards the national mega projects in process. The president also laid emphasis on timely phasing and reforms to the national economy. According to the spokesman for the presidential cabinet, Ambassador Bassam Radi, the meeting took stock of the security situation, bringing into sharper focus on combating terrorism. Unfolding world and regional development were also reviewed during the meeting. The Interior Minister, in a statement, had said that that 13 terrorists were killed during raid on hideouts in the borders of the North Sinai region on Tuesday. The statement did say that the terrorists were killed during exchange of fire with security forces carrying out the raid on the hideout in Al Arish. The statement added that the police also seized a large amount of weapons and explosives in the terrorist possessions.
Egypt opens up to the world. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi meets with world leaders.
أعبر لكم عن خالص الشكر والتقدير على حفاوة الاستقبال وكرم الضيافة.
Reaffirming Egypt's vision, delivering our voice abroad.
لتطوير التعاون الثنائي الاقتصادي والعسكري إلى مستويات غير مسبوقة.
Discussing regional and international developments. Solid and strong relations on the path of partnership and development.
Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met on Tuesday with his German counterpart Heiko Maas, currently visiting Egypt. The meeting focused on means of boosting joint ties between Egypt and Germany, as well as regional issues of mutual concern. Earlier, the German embassy in Cairo issued a statement asserting Egypt's pivotal role in achieving peace and security in the region in light of Egypt's chairman of the African Union and South Africa's membership of the Troika and the UN Security Council. In other news also, Defense Minister General Mohammed Zaki had received on Tuesday his Kenyan counterpart at the accompanied delegation. The meeting had covered on the latest developments in the African continent and a number of files with mutual concern, on top of which is military partnership in the fields of security and exchanging expertise. On his part, Zaki praised the strong Egyptian-Kenyan relations, adding that the armed forces is keen to support joint military cooperation. On the part of the Kenyan Defense Minister, he said that the Kenyan-Egyptian relations witnesses a great development in all fields with mutual concern, adding that Egypt is playing a pivotal role in international and the regional arena. Starting on an official visit to Nigeria, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Ali Abdul-Al, had met with Nigeria's Vice President Yemi Osinbajo. The person of the House of Representatives, Dr. Ali Abdul-Al, praised the current positive push in the Egyptian-Nigerian relations that copes with their historic nature. The meeting also reviewed most pressing challenges facing Africa, mainly the war on terrorism. Also, Speaker of the House of Representatives, Dr. Ali Abdel Al, also met with Ahmed Ibrahim Lawan, who is the President of the Senate of Nigeria, and had voiced Egypt's deep interests in pushing the relationships with Nigeria forward on all levels, particularly the parliamentarian. Abdel Al also elaborated Egypt's position over the African issues of mutual concern. The Senate of Nigeria's president, meanwhile, called for more parliamentarians' coordination between Egypt and Nigeria in regional and international arenas. Regionally, Lebanese Prime Minister Saad al-Hariri said that he would submit his resignation on Tuesday, declaring he had hit a dead end in trying to resolve a crisis that is unleashed by huge protests against Lebanon's ruling elite. Addressing the nation in a televised address, Hariri said that for 13 days, the Lebanese people have been waiting for a decision for a political solution that stops the deterioration, adding that he have tried to find a way out through which to listen to the voice of the people. Hariri also said that he is going to the presidential palace to present the resignation of the government, adding that their responsibility today is how to protect Lebanon and to revive its economy. Also moving forward with the news bulletin, and traffic makes Beirut return on the day 13 of the protests lockdown, and more cars have been piling up in Beirut's roads, skirting the barrages which have been erected by the protesters on the 13th day of anti-graft demonstrations, which have also left much of Lebanon in a lockdown. The Association of Lebanese Banks said banks were keen to ensure the public and the private sector workers that they would be receiving their salaries. Meanwhile, supporters of Hezbollah and its ally forces have protested from a roadblock that they had set up in Beirut, tearing down the tents and fighting with them, forcing the police to intervene. The first much such of an incident that's been taking place in the Lebanese capital. Moving on to Iraq, where Iraqi security forces have killed at least 14 people in the Shiite holy city of Karbala overnight after opening fire on protesters, and a return to the tactics denounced by the government's own internal inquiry. Karbala's police chief denied in a statement that any protesters had been killed and said only one person has died in an unrelated criminal incident, calling footage of security forces shooting at the protesters that went viral on social media fabricated and designed to incite the street in the city. On to Syria, where at least 6 Syrian army forces were killed in heavy clashes which broke out on Tuesday between the army and the Turkish forces for the first time since Ankara had attacked the northeastern Syria 3 weeks ago. The Syrian Observatory for Human Rights said that artillery and machine gun fire were exchanged near Asadea, south of the border town of Ras Al Ain. This came as the Kurdish YPG forces have still not fully withdrawn from a strip of land in northeast Syria, from which Ankara says that they must leave. Under an accord reached a week ago between the presidents of Turkey and Russia, Syrian border guards and the Russian military police are meant to remove all YPG forces and the weapons from a 30 kilometers band of territory south of the Turkish-Syrian border by 6 p.m. local time today. The United Nations Special Envoy for Syria called for the ceasefire in northeast Syria to be extended as he tries to move ahead with the political process to end the 8-year-old war. Envoy Geir Pedersen had said that he would meet with the foreign ministers from Turkey, Iran and Russia, all significant players in the conflict, back there in Geneva a day before the first meeting of Syria's Constitutional Committee takes place. After 4 years of arguing over the Brexit, almost all the British politicians now are agreeing on an election that is needed to break the cycle in order to enact with the shocking allies of the country, which was once considered as a bastion of stable Western capitalism as well as democracy. Here's the story.
Britain was heading towards a December election on Tuesday after Prime Minister Boris Johnson's bet on breaking the Brexit deadlock with an early vote gained support from opposition parties as the European Union finalizes a third delay to the divorce that was originally supposed to take place on March the 29th. The United Kingdom, its parliament and its voters remain divided on how or indeed if to go ahead with Brexit. After Parliament refused Johnson his third demand for an election on Monday, he will try to force a bill through Parliament today that calls for a December 12th election. It needs a simple majority in Parliament. In a move that raises the chances of a rare parliamentary success for Johnson, the opposition Labour Party's leader Jeremy Corbyn said its condition of ruling out a no-deal Brexit had been met so it would support an election. Lawmakers could still bring significant changes to Johnson's bill. Opposition parties are still squabbling over which day in early December is best for an election and whether to allow settled European Union citizens a vote. Ultimately, voters would have a choice between an emboldened Johnson pushing for his Brexit deal or a socialist government under Corbyn renegotiating the deal before a referendum. If no party wins conclusively, the Brexit deadlock will continue.
Welcome back to the business news. And the fourth Arab-European Economic Summit opened in Athens today with the aim of boosting economic cooperation, probe new investment opportunities, as well as create job opportunities in joint ventures of trade, energy, health and modern technologies. Addressing the summit, Arab League Secretary General Ahmed Abul Ghaid has said that the EU is the chief partner of the Arab and Middle Eastern states with millions of dollars worth investment in the main economic sectors. Looking over the Egyptian stock market and their indices, who continue to rally on a trend thanks to strong purchases by both Arab and foreign investors as well as local enterprises. Benchmark EGX 30 index had surged by 1.1%, setting at 14,460 points. EGX 30 capped also moved up by 1%. Both the secondary indices, AGX 70 for small and medium companies and the broader EGX 100 rose by 0.5% and 1% respectively. Saudi Arabia said that it had signed over 23 investment deals worth of $15 billion, mostly in the manufacturing sector, on Tuesday as it is hosting the third Future Investment Initiative, the FII conference. The United States sent a big delegation to the conference this year, including its Energy and Treasury secretaries and senior White House advisor Jared Kushner, who is due to speak on Tuesday along with the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, Brazilian President Jair Bolsonaro, and also participating on the conference between the 29th to the 31st of October. That brings us to the end of Channel 2's news here. Thank you very much for watching.